whatever you recognize, people are going to want. I remember the first time we had somebody get a 50-pound poster, people would walk in, strangers, be like, I want that. And now gave them something to aspire to. The hard part is you got to give them something else after that, or else they kind of lose their motivation. But when people do that, right, like make a big deal out of it. So they get a poster, they get a post-session celebration with everybody. We put it on social media, we send out an email, we make that person feel like $1 million that they just achieved a massive milestone. Be the place that recognizes, that appreciates people. Because if you're the one place that does that, do you think they want to go somewhere else?
Welcome to the Fitness Empire Podcast, where we show gym owners how to dominate their competition and build a massively profitable fitness business. Dustin and Matt collectively own 12 gyms and have a combined 30 years of experience in the fitness industry. They're here to help gym owners create an empire of impact and income.
Empire Builders, welcome to another episode of the Fitness Empire Podcast. Me and Matt got an awesome episode lined up for you guys. And so we know that in business, there's a lot of systems that need to be built. Today's topic is about a system that's kind of like a subsystem that gets forgotten, but it's like the little engine that drives your marketing, your sales, your word of mouth, your reputation. And it baffles our mind that so many owners don't have this system captured, basically being repeatedly done day in and day out, every month, every trial, every challenge, so that their machine can grow bigger and bigger. And so before we dive into this week's topic, I do want to point out we do have a special event coming up live for you guys where we're going to dive into systems, hands and feet and knee deep, and really get these systems built out so that you go home with all the SOPs you need. So again, if you've never heard of SOPs, you know, it's like a standard operating procedure. It's like a playbook that you hand to someone, and it just has a very simple checklist of what to do to execute something. They don't have to be 10 pages long. They could be simple one-pagers. But man, how well you can sleep at night when these things are documented. That if you're on vacation, if you're out sick, because God forbid the owner's out sick, you decide you just want to have a week off, you can point people to these SOPs that you have documented, and now they know how to do anything and everything in the business without you, and that gives you true freedom. So at this live event called Implementation Bootcamp, Matt and myself are going to help you build out at least a handful for every single area of your business. So we got marketing, we got lead nurture, we got sales, we got fulfillment, we got retention and ascension. Inside of each of those categories, we want you to go home with at least 3 to 5 systems documented so that you can go home with a nice batch of SOPs and know that my business is now systemized. That thing I've been talking about doing is finally done, because I went to Implementation Bootcamp where they mix learning and doing in one live event experience, and now I got it, and that is a breath of fresh air. So would love to have you guys there. If you do want to register for it, you'll find the link in the description of this podcast or probably on this post about this podcast. And so we are pushing this hard because there's only 30 seats, and if you're hearing this, there's a chance that those seats are available. There's a chance they might not be available because it is a very limited event. It is not a mega conference room where we're going to fit 2,000 people. We want this to be intimate so we can actually help you build out the systems you need for your business. So that's Implementation Bootcamp. I'm excited. Matt, is there anything you want to say about IBC?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that a lot of owners struggle with, and back when I was coming up too, I would struggle with this too. It's you learn all this information, you know you need to be implemented in your business, and we end up being information gatherers. We get overwhelmed, and you don't fix the problem in the same environment that you have the problem in. So an example of this is like people that are massively overweight. They go on, Extreme Makeover. They go on Biggest Loser. They change their environment because they can't fix it in the environment that has been causing the issues, right? So when you're in your day-to-day, you have all the stressors, everything that are going on, you need to be making some changes. You need to be making, you might already know what you need to do, but finding the time to do that, and the truth is you make the time. So coming out, making the time, because genius will happen on the airplane. Genius will happen when we give you the space to do it. I would say, as smart as me and Dustin believe we are, there's probably 50% that you already know you're supposed to be doing. You're just not doing it because you haven't had the time to be able to implement. and then you're going to be on the plane ride back. So by the time we do get back, you're going to be able to have all those things in place. And then it's just training your team up to be able to start doing that. And you're going to massively move the needle in your business because, hey, maybe every week you might be able to carve out like an hour to work on something, right? But now you're going to be able to carve out multiple days. Honestly, it's 4 days that you're carving out. You're carving the airplane ride down. You're carving out the 2 full days and then there. But you're also going to get your cup filled up, right? As owners, we're getting our butts kicked all the time. We got all these problems, all these issues. It's unrelenting. No matter how good things are, like it's just so much going on. Being able to remove yourself from that, that's going to fill your cup. You're going to be in a much better state to go home and execute and really move the needle in your business. And then if that wasn't enough, got 2 things for you. We're renting out like a mini mansion. This place is like incredible. It's awesome. You're going to love it. And then if you have a family, it's pretty much a tax write-off for like a family vacation if you do it right. So we're not tax professionals. We're not going to tell you how to do that. But that's just a very good excuse to be able to write off like a family vacation. Like I'm going to be bringing my family. Dustin's going to be bringing his family. And it's going to be a very family-friendly event. We're not out there like getting drunk and doing stupid shit. Like we're there to improve, get better. And then you're going to be able to connect with 30 other gym owners that are awesome inside of there, and you're going to learn from them. And you're going to create a network that's going to last well beyond the 2 days. So that's the goal. If you feel like that's exciting, you know what to do. All right, let's get into today's topic, which is client hero marketing. I didn't come up with this term. This term comes from Donald Miller, How to Build a Story Brand. And he's like way ahead of his time, but this is more relevant today than any time. In the marketing world, everybody that's a marketer is like, man, there's such low trust right now. It's the most antitrust environment humanly possible. So people don't trust the claims that you're making. And think about the fitness world. How many claims are in the fitness world of you're going to lose weight, it's going to take 0 effort, the pounds are just going to fall off. And we all know that's a lie, right? But it works. Like people fall for it. They buy the next latest program, the next latest pill, the next latest fad, blah, 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 blah. And guess what? We look the same when we're out there making claims when we don't have social proof to be able to back that up. So it's not just about social proof. It's how do we use that social proof? I like Alex Hormozi. Like I learned a lot from Alex Hormozi, but with a program that he used to have, I believe he's a big reason why there is such low trust in our industry is because of the free bait and switch 6-week challenge, right? Hey, free challenge. It's not free and it's $600 and it's actually really expensive. And we're going to sell you very hard the first time that we actually talk to you. That's not a really great first experience, but then everybody starts getting skeptical of all the offers that they see out there. Even if it's actually free, people get real freaking skeptical because they're like, hey, I've seen this song and dance before, right? Or they sign up for something that's low cost and we instantly go to trying to upsell them and hard sell them on the next thing, kind of Russell Brunson approach, ClickFunnels, right? Sell them a like low ticket and then try to ascend them as quick and as fast as possible to offset your marketing. And then unbelievable guarantees that you can't back up and you've never actually done inside of your locations. So with that, like you can imagine why people have such low trust and why it's hard to market the programs that we offer, especially when it's weight loss specific. So with that, imagine if every week you got an email from me and every single week I showed you a client that came in, they had a problem, they were struggling, they were just like you gave them a solution and it massively changed their life. And you showed how it changed their life and you had before and after pictures. And every week you got an email from me and that's all you've ever saw, you would start to be like, hey, this place actually changes people's lives, right? So then when you do come out with an offer, like now they're like, hey, I need to sign up for that because I've seen week after week after week after week. It's undeniable that this place actually helps people. And part of a brand is really what is the outcome that people associate with doing business with you. If you just make people have to create that meaning and create that association, you're probably going to lose because they're going to associate you as a gym, right? So what we want to do is associate them with an outcome. So when you are showing client transformations, what's the outcome that you want associated with your brand? If you say, I want to be associated with results, I'd say, what results do you want that to be associated with? And then are you actually making it undeniable that that is how people should see your brand? And then the last thing before we get into kind of the tactics here is I learned something a long time ago from one of my first mentors, Bedros. He said, copy can't be co, which means it can't be confusing, it can't be unbelievable, and it can't be boring. But the area that I want to hone in on is unbelievable. So if you're making unbelievable claims that sound too good to be true and you don't back that up with social proof, people are going to click away and they're like, oh, this is bullshit, right? Because it sounds unbelievable. For example, like my gyms have done over $46 million. I can't tell you how many people are like, yeah, right, like that, you're full of shit, you're blah, 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 right? But if I show them my revenue after I make that statement, then they go, oh, he's not full of shit, right? So being able to do that, if you're like, hey, we've helped, like in our gyms, we've helped over 300 people lose 50 pounds or more. And if I show you 300 people's before and afters and they've lost 50 pounds, and you go, oh, like that's believable. I worked with a copywriter before, and she's like, this sounds unbelievable. When I was like, hey, our clients have done this, 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 and this. And she's like, that doesn't sound, believable. This sounds unbelievable. And I actually don't think that's a stat that you want to share unless you can back it up, because people are going to instantly call bullshit. I was like, oh. And then the last part of the confusing part of your copy, when you start doing bait and switch and trying to be cutesy with what you're doing to try to upsell people, you tend to end up having to use confusing language, which then gets people to not click and not move forward and not fill out your lead form or sign up for your program, because they're confused on what they're buying, or they're confused about what's about to happen to me when I do the next step. So if I'm confused about what's going to happen to me, I don't take the next step. So when you have a good offer and people know what's about to happen, they know the cost, they know about what's going to transpire, they're much more likely to move forward, especially if you're the gym that is the only gym that's doing that. There's plenty of people that went from gym launch to doing more of a traditional LBO. So gym launch, again, not to throw them under the bus, free 6-week challenge, and then it's not free, and then it's expensive. And over time, what ends up happening is it becomes less and less and less and less and less effective. And some of those people, when they go to a traditional LBO, start selling like crazy, because they went from a no trust offer to the highest trust offer, which is, I know exactly what I'm getting. I know exactly the cost. I know what's going to happen to me. This is how I sign up. This is how I do business, right? That just shows you that what was before a low trust, people stop responding, to a high trust, people start responding again, because they know it's not confusing. It's not unbelievable. I know what to expect. We won't get into boring. You can use ChatGPT if you're a boring writer, and you can ask them to make it less boring, right? So before we get into kind of the framework of using client hero marketing, anything you want to add to that, Dustin?
Yeah, I think, at the end of the day, when you have real people, which I know we're going to get into, saying that you're awesome, it's always going to work better versus like stock photos. Like, so we went and got, just off the internet, you can find stock photos of people that aren't in your gym. People could kind of tell, because you should be spitting these out on a reoccurring basis. And so essentially, I know we're gonna kind of get into that more, but the big thing that I would say that we're gonna help you guys with building trust is that we want to show local people, because then the local people will comment, the local people will share, the local people will tag their friends and say, look at what I've done. And all these good invisible effects happen from you showcasing your clients. And that's just something me and Matt were scratching our head. We're like, do you see anybody else around the fitness industry sharing their transformation photos? Like, that's just not happening right now. It's crazy. It's kind of like we went the opposite. We were hardcore results, transformations, to like everyone's altruistic and all about just helping people build healthy habits and getting, stronger. And like, we don't want it to be all about weight loss. And everyone went hard the other way. And so now at the same time, we're hearing gyms struggling to get new clients, and gyms struggling to stand out from the competition, and gyms not being able to get people coming in like clockwork. And so we think that they're linked, and that's kind of why we want to help you guys with this. But that's it. I just want to make that note that, we're going to be getting to something here. And the big punchline is more leads, more traffic, more sales, bigger business. And we really think it's tied to this, what most people would think of as a small, insignificant system within their business, which actually has huge ripple effects the more time goes on that you're in business.
And I just want to address the altruistic thing, right? So like some people are like, oh, I don't want to put somebody on a diet. I don't want somebody to be in a challenge. I don't want somebody to do blah, blah, blah. But the problem is you're not addressing the need that person has. That person's in pain. They are suffering, and they think a result is going to help them. So if you're not marketing that, if you're not talking about that, then your product isn't attached to the solution to their problem, and they're not going to come to your gym. In truth, I think we've covered this before. When you start talking about, it's all about habits, it's all about working out, it's all about blah, 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 blah. That actually sounds like a lot of pain, effort, and sacrifice, and you're like scaring people away. They also think it's going to take forever, right? So really, we should sell them a result. And then if you're a really habit-based person, start talking about habits once they sign up, right? And like, that's just the fact of the matter. Like, unless you can show them that this actually leads to the results, because a lot of these habit-based people end up never getting any fucking results, but they're all I'm like, you're not even helping anybody. So like, get off your high horse. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Little rabbit hole. Let's talk about client hero marketing, how to tell a good story. And you guys can implement this in anything you want. But at the heart of saying client hero marketing is we want to make the client the hero, and you are the empathetic guy that is there to help them get the result that they want. You are there to help them solve their problem and get them the result that they want. They didn't get the result, just because you're so amazing, you're so awesome. Like, they're the hero. So with that, you have a character. Obviously, your character has a name. So think about writing an email. Susie comes to you, right? She has a problem. So typically people have an external and internal problem that they want solved. So the external is they come to you and say, hey, I want to lose weight. But really, it's not the external thing that's really getting them to move. It's not the weight that's causing the problem. It's what's the frustration that the weight that they have, the extra weight, what's that frustration causing internally, right? It might be low self-confidence. It might be embarrassment. And it might be, their spouse doesn't want to touch them anymore. Like, those are all the internal things that they're not going to say out loud. They're not, going to say that, but that's the real reason, right? What's the weight? What's the weight's effect having on their life? So when we think about solving a problem for somebody, yeah, we talk about the external lot in our marketing, but if we can start in emails and showing client examples, if we can show, hey, what problems was that weight causing for Susie? What was 50 pounds overweight doing to her life and her relationships, in her marriage, in her confidence, and the things that was holding her back? Like, if we can share that and go deeper in a story, because the cool part when we use stories of other people, we're just sharing the story. We're not having to be like, I'll give a perfect example, right? Is if somebody's massively overweight, maybe it's affecting their sex life. Maybe their husband doesn't want to have intimacy with them. Maybe their husband doesn't look at them the same way anymore. If you as a dude, like, if I just share a story like, hey, you need to lose weight so your husband wants to, have sex with you again, they're gonna be like, fuck you, like, who are you? Versus if I share a story that talks about a person that came in and I'm just the reporter of that story, and so-and-so came in, they're 50 pounds overweight, this is how it was affecting their life, and you share stuff like that, like, now that resonates, now that hits, now that, like, you can basically share anything because you're sharing someone else's story. They meet you, you give them a plan, right? So we started working out 3 days a week. We gave them custom macros. We did blah, 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 blah. They started drinking after body weight water. If you can give them something unique and different and something they've never heard before, that makes it even more like aha. Like, if you can give them an aha type of moment, for example, an aha would be so-and-so followed starvation diets. They would lose a little bit of weight. They gain it all back, where we actually show them how to get to eat more food. And by eating more food, they were able to do blah, 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 which then finally helped them lose the weight. So that's the aha. That's the unique thing. That's the most people are doing this, but over here we do this. And because anytime you can have something unique and different where they're like, I haven't tried that before, maybe that's the secret. Maybe that's the thing that's been holding me back. People start to pay attention, right? So then they sign up, you give them a plan. The next step is they're called to action. They actually start doing what you told them to do. And then that results in either success or failure. Obviously, we want stories of success if we want to prove a point or plant a seed. For example, the summer's coming. We had a podcast on that. We want to plant a seed of, people have said that they're going to go and work out outside and, they have the best of intent, but then that led to failure. That would be a story that you want to share to then make what you're trying to provide to them more valuable so they don't make that mistake, right? But that is what that looks like when you guys write a story. But you can also have, they call it stakes. Like, what are the stakes, right? The stakes are like, obviously they do it, they're successful. If they don't do it, that's going to result in failure. You can create a failure stakes inside of the story by saying, hey, I'm so glad I found this place. If I didn't come in and I didn't get started, like I would be depressed. I would be blah, blah, blah. That's the stakes that would happen if that person didn't take action with you on the program, but you want to do it again from a reporter's view, sharing that story. So again, when we think about a good story, the problems, we have external problems. That's I want to lose weight, but it's really the internal why people purchase, why people move. If we can articulate their internal problems better than they can, we will win. And we do that by sharing client stories. So when you're sharing a story, it's not just like, hey, they came in and they lost weight and kumbaya, right? We want to go deeper. We want to hear details of that story, which only works if you actually know that client very well, or if you are like reaching out to clients to fill out a survey, asking the right questions that lead to you being able to get that information right. So like, why did you come in? Oh, I wanted to lose 30 pounds. Like, how was the 30 pounds affecting you in your life? Now you can start getting deeper. Obviously, some people may not open up, but being able to do that, very similar to if they came in and you sit down with them one-on-one and you're trying to pry and you just ask why, it's peeling that onion to get to the real emotional reason. That's the internal stuff that we want to talk about, right? So in the context of like a 6-week challenge, if you're trying to promote a 6-week challenge, the best way to promote it is being able to have a client that came in, they saw your ad, they wanted to lose weight because they were frustrated, all the internal things that we just talked about, right? They sign up, we gave them a customized plan, we gave them custom macros, we gave them a coach, we gave them blah, blah, blah. They executed, they did what you told them to do, you supported them throughout, they got amazing results and it changed their life. And now they're able to do X, Y, and Z that they couldn't do before, yada, yada. Like that would be a great ad, that would be a great email, right? But it's not just one, you got to do multiple of those. But being able to have different avatars and sharing stories that align with your avatar as a client. If your avatar as a client is, females between 40 and 50, and you're sharing a story about a 65-year-old dude, that's probably not going to align with your avatar. It's better than nothing, but making sure that we're sharing stories of clients that actually resonate with your clients. So think about like ideal world, if a third to half of your emails during a sales campaign were client stories like this, or you shared client stories like this leading into a sale of a challenge, it would be so much more effective than you just saying, hey, our challenge is awesome. This is how much weight you're going to lose, da, 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 versus, hey, our challenge is awesome. This is how much weight you're going to lose. Like meet Susie. She just did our challenge. And this is what happened. And then meet Fred, and then meet whoever, right? And like undeniable social proof of people that have completed your program and got results. And sometimes we can get lazy on this because we don't start capturing that. But for me, that's so incredibly important. And when we look at the value equation from Alex Hormozi, at the top, so we want to make something as valuable as possible. We want to have the desired outcome. Whatever their desired outcome is, we want our product to align with that desired outcome. We want it to solve their external and internal problems. To the degree we can do that, the more valuable our program becomes. So I think it's also important to have a variety of people, right? A variety of ages, a variety of problems, so that it's undeniable that no matter your age, your gender, your fitness level, our program is going to work for you, right? And then we want to increase likelihood of achievement, which obviously stories do that. And then we want to have time delay, pain, sacrifice, and effort as low as possible. Obviously, most of these stories aren't talking about what it took. They're really trying to make it sound as simple as possible, right? So when we share these stories, we increase the value of our program, and it also helps associate our program with that desired result, which is branding. If they're like, hey, that's a weight loss gym, I'm good with that. Fuck yeah, we help more people lose weight than any other gym in the area, right? I'll own that all day long. So if you want to be known for results, when people say, hey, what do they do at that gym? Like, you want it to be tied to a result that people get. Like, hey, if you want to lose weight and get in amazing shape, you come to our gym, right? If you want to, pay $10 a month and use some weights, go to Planet Fitness. We don't want to be aligned with that, right? And people will pay more for results. People will pay to get out of pain, and we need to be able to address that. So before we get into some easy systems and examples of this, anything you want to share with that, Dustin?
I'll just give other examples of results. Like, Gym Reinforcement is working with sports performance gyms. So like, they're getting the result of helping you with your sport to win more in your sport and perform better when you are competing. There's a lot of gyms I've seen more and more moving towards pain relief, so it's like, is that back killing you? Like, is that shoulder killing you? You can argue them losing weight would probably help, but some of them do need that corrective exercise or like a manual stretching. We see things like Stretch Lab and, Stretch Zone and these types of things where they do that. And there's other ways to get it, but you have to package it into a story. And, you could even go with the client was a hero before you, but you turn them into a superhero by amplifying them, right? Making them healthier, stronger, right? You attach the Iron Man suit to them. You made them a better version of themselves. And so it's just that before and after. What is your result? Get clear on that. What is the program we put people through? And then just show time and time again, person comes in and we make them better. Person comes in, we make them better. We're a conveyor belt of results. Who wants to hop on the conveyor belt, right? And so it does come with time, but also it comes with capturing this. And that's the big thing we're trying to say to you guys here is make sure there's a system in place that this is being captured routinely and regularly and not just captured internally and just put in a Google Drive. It is then being shown to the world because perception's reality. And you in your bubble might think we're awesome here at getting people results. But if I go to your social media and I scrub it and I see no demonstration of proof, I actually don't think you're very awesome. And that's just simply by perception. It's not me dogging you. It's just your inability to show it to the outside world. So what do you want to show the world? What do you want to kind of plant your flag in? Produce it internally and then show it externally. And that's when you're going to see a massive amount of lead flow and just people, the right people coming to you as well. Because guess what? The person you're wanting to attract will be attracted by you posting that type of result, right? I don't get student athletes that are 17 signing up for our program because they see tons of we're like Matt Weight Loss, Factory. We see tons of before and afters weight loss. I don't get 16-year-olds trying to get better for basketball signing up for my gym because they're not drawn to that. But if my social media feed was like, I helped Susan with volleyball, I helped Mike with his basketball, and all it was performance, now a parent that wants their kid to get better at sports is going to reach out to me because I'm going to build that notoriety, right? Gym owners, wanted to take a quick moment to tell you all about IBC, all right? It stands for Implementation Bootcamp, and it is where learning and doing get merged into one live experience, all right? It's happening in Orlando, Florida on July 26th and 27th with myself and Matt Wilbur. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to go through the 5 domains of the client journey and we're going to help you to capture and document SOPs and systems within those 5 areas. All right. So the 5 areas are marketing, lead nurture, sales, fulfillment, and then retention and ascension. We're going to help you leave with at least 3 systems documented in each category so that you now have a system documented that you can teach to others and have a repeatable and predictable process in place. So if that sounds like something you want to do, come out to IBC and we'll see you there. If you want to sign up, just go ahead and click the link in the show notes. See you at IBC, guys.
Yeah, I mean, an easy example of that would, like, a kid comes in because he wants to increase his vertical jump in his 40 because he wants to be on varsity next year. He comes in, we gave him a plan. He came in and worked 3 days a week and he worked really hard and blah, 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 blah. We increased his vertical by 5 inches and his bench press by 50 pounds and his squat by 100 pounds. And he made varsity that year.
Yes.
Like, that's a good story, right? That resonates, and that's a perfect example of how we would go about doing that. So this works for anything, but part of it is being consistent. Like, how often are we sharing stories like this? How often are we even, like, being able to produce stories like this that are happening inside of your gym? And it starts with your product, guys. Like, me and Dustin are big believers is your product drives everything, and your product is your team. And if your product isn't good, it makes marketing really challenging, because if you're not getting people results and people come to you and you're not delivering on what they think that they're supposed to be getting at your gym, then that's going to start creating bad word of mouth, and you're not going to get referrals, and you're not going to get the invisible side of things that make this all work. So if you have a product that works, you have a product that produces results, even if you didn't share them, your marketing would still be really good. But obviously this will, be gasoline on the fire, so to speak. So some areas that I've used this, that it works really well: grand opening campaign. Whenever we would open a new location, part of our strategy was we had a bunch of videos of people that are like, clients coming to us. They've tried everything in the past. Nothing's worked for them. And this is the first time that a program's ever worked for them in their life, and how awesome it is, and blah, 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 blah. Like, there's a reason why we would open with 300 to 450 people on a challenge, because we had undeniable social proof that challenge worked. But it wasn't us saying that our challenge is amazing. It was other people saying that our program is amazing. With your program, like any program that you do, your ads, but even branding wise, having videos out just of clients, like spend $5 a day to just get views on videos of clients saying how awesome you are. You do that long enough, you'd be amazed at how much better your ads work, or you can retarget those individuals that watch those videos. So now they're a warm audience to be able to target them with what you're doing. But again, like, it doesn't even have to be like this super amazing video. You could just get sound bites of one of my favorite, I don't even know where they're out, but it's like, people like, oh, I did the program and I lost 100 pounds. I lost 50 pounds. I lost 60 pounds. I lost 70 pounds. I lost 80 pounds. And you're like, okay, it obviously works, right? Because so many people, so they knew what result that they were trying to make people associate with their brand. And then they just have people say how much weight that they lost. One year we did a challenge party, and then I just interviewed people, and then we clipped that up to like, I've lost X pounds here. I've lost X pounds. And it's just a video of people going back and forth saying how much weight that video crushed for ads. It's undeniable social proof that our program works. And then guess what video you play at orientation when people come in? You play those videos of people saying that this place changed my life. So you put them in an emotional state before they even start the program. Now you're not just a workout program. So you got to be strategic about how you do this. And some of you are like, well, I don't have guys, most of you know how to make a fucking reel, right? Like, get a client, put a camera in someone's face, like, what results have you gotten since you started here? Boom, 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 boom. You can make a 30-second clip very easily, no budget whatsoever, with, whatever. And those reels would crush it better than anything else that you guys are doing, I promise you. So that makes it pretty easy to do, because again, we're in a low trust. Like, if you're running a challenge, hey, last challenge, I lost 20 pounds. Last challenge, I lost 15 pounds. Last challenge, I did this and got off meds. Last challenge, like that video will crush, and it doesn't have to be a high budget whatsoever. And honestly, some people distrust high budget, overdone type of stuff anyways. And you guys can produce that all the time. Like make it, hey, what do you love about X gym? Boom, 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 boom. And then you post it. And then 2, if people are on video saying they love your gym, guess what? They're not canceling. Sales pages, right? Client before and afters, short snippets of like benefits that they got during the challenge. So taking that framework of telling a story, tried to transcend that into like 2 to 3 sentences max. So really quick, snappy results that they got with the program. Screenshots or Google reviews on your pages of real people saying real things about your program. Simple things that you guys can be doing to leverage this is Transformation Tuesdays, or whatever you guys want. You can do them Saturdays. I don't give a shit. It doesn't really matter, right? Transformation Tuesday just rhymes. But being able to get a story every week, or at least once a month, trying to get a Transformation Tuesday email of a client that obviously came to you, broken, you fixed them, whatever that looks like. Put that in an email, put that on social media, like put decent amount of effort into that. Tell a good story, do it justice, and make it like an honor that people are getting chosen to do that. Like they need to be nominated because we want to inspire more people with their story. You can do client spotlights, which we'll do client spotlights, not so much on like just the weight loss, but kind of like overall effects that being healthy and fit have had on their life. So it's not necessarily just a focus on, like, a client spotlight might be that person just climbed a mountain, right, because of everything that they did. Like a great client spotlight. I'm doing a little bit more training now. Client went and he was able to go hike a couple mountains with his family. And he's like, dude, like if I didn't do boot camp, if I wasn't here, I never would have been able to do that. So he's enjoying things in his life that have nothing to do with weight loss, and that tells a good story, right? Being able to enjoy life with your kids and being able to keep up with your grandkids, and being able to, like, those are good spotlight types of things that, are just feel good stories that you guys can be doing. So how do you get these things? Like, how do you start doing that if you haven't been doing that? Because so many people get on the phone like, yeah, I need to start doing that, but then they don't have systems to do it. So you need to do it, but do you have a system to capture it and to be able to do it? So one of the easiest ways, the best time to get somebody to, say, fill out a survey or a form is right after they accomplish something. So somebody just lost 25 pounds, somebody just lost 50 pounds, somebody just lost 100 pounds. You don't want to have them fill out a form 2 months after that. You literally want to celebrate them, and then like that day or the next day, be able to send them the form because they're in a high state, they're emotional, they feel good, they're on top of the world. That is when you're going to get the most beneficial, them telling you how awesome you are, right? So from their own words. Make it a part of your challenge program. So if you guys do weight loss type of programs, make it a part of, in order to win prizes, you do need to submit, a final survey and blah, 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 and ask the right questions to be able to get the right answers that you're looking for. Again, people that go through the program, they're in the highest level of state. They have their final weigh-in. They lost 20 pounds. They feel great. And they are most similar to, like, hey, I know how I felt before the challenge started, right? I was in a bad place. I felt like shit. And now I feel great. This place changed my life. So you can capture a lot of those. Like if you do a challenge and you have 50 to 100 people, 20, 30% are going to get really good results. That should give you some ammunition for a long period of time to be able to leverage those stories. Have a recognition place have a recognition system in place. So when people would hit 50, 75, 100, like we would do a after session like celebration. We would get them a poster. We would do poster celebrations at parties. So people would come on stage. We would say nice things about them. They'd get their poster. And that was a massive celebration. And then everybody wanted the poster. Whatever you recognize, people are going to want. I remember the first time we had somebody get a 50-pound poster, people would walk in, strangers, like, I want that. And now gave them something to aspire to. And then, like, people would achieve it, right? The hard part is you got to give them something else after that, or else they kind of lose their motivation. But when people do that, right, like make a big deal out of it. So they get a poster, they get a post-session celebration with everybody. We put it on social media. We send out an email. We make that person feel like $1 million that they just achieved a massive milestone. Like that doesn't even require telling a story. That's just, hey, this person lost 50 pounds, like, write something nice about them. It doesn't have to be the whole story. But again, if I'm getting an email about that and I'm seeing it on social media, that is also social proof. But that's a nice social proof in the sense of like, it's very organic because it's the whole group together celebrating somebody. So it also showcases the power of community inside of those photos. Other ways to do it is have your teams nominate clients. So being nominated is kind of like an honor, right? Just being able to reach out and say, hey, you were nominated by our team for our Transformation Tuesday story or whatever story. Would you be willing to share your story to inspire others? Because we want more people like you, right? That makes them feel really good, which then makes them more likely to say yes. The other thing that you can do is just one-on-one combat and have a conversation like, my God, like you're crushing it. You're so amazing. Would you be willing to share your story for our upcoming Transformation Tuesday story? Like either way, that works. But if you guys aren't doing one-on-one combat, if you just send out an email that's like, hey, we'd love for you to share your story, you'll get some people to do it. And you'll get some people who are like, that's not really what we're looking for. Versus like the ones that you really want, usually that ends up coming like you kind of got to pry them to do it. Because think about it, if you've been heavy your whole life, like you don't like the spotlight, you've never had spotlight before, like it's a little uncomfortable. So you got to be willing to overcome their internal and external reasons why they don't want to do it. So they're embarrassed. They don't want to share their story. They don't think what they did was all that great, right? But it is awesome. And we do want to celebrate them. And we do want to inspire others with their story and with their journey. And one of the things we always like to say is like, you never know who you're going to inspire with your story. Like you're going to come in and you're going to do great things. You're going to lose weight. You never know who you're going to inspire. So those are some systems. I don't know if you have other systems that you kind of use to capture the before and afters and the stories, because just trying to send out one email and hoping you just get a bunch of replies, it doesn't work. I've tried it.
No, those are all good tips. I just wanted to highlight that, like, hey guys, this is the system I said at the beginning. Where there's a sneaky system that can make or break a fitness business from growing. Specifically, if you again focus on weight loss, or if you have a different result, is just capturing it. That's what we're getting at here. So it's like, hey, what's your system for collecting the before and after photo? What's your system for collecting the story from the client and writing a prompt or questions to get them to write an emotional story, right? Not just saying I lost 20 pounds. What was life before? What's life after? What's your system for getting those to the marketer of the company? Usually it's you, the owner, or your agency, but like you can have a nice Google Drive going, but if they're never distributed, they're worthless, right? So how are you passing it up to the right person? Then how's that marketer? What's their system for then posting these things and regularly showcasing before and afters or client interviews? That's the whole system within the system that needs to be cranking. And then, making sure that that is all being leveraged to not only get you a bigger audience and more eyeballs, but then also to turn it into sales, right? And so that's the system that me and Matt were looking at. We're like, I don't think most gyms have this systemized. They probably got like how to open the gym, how to run a session, how to, enter an agreement into the CRM. But we don't think most gyms have a transformation story or transformation photo collection system. And that's why we made today's episode, because we want to point that out. So again, just a little mini plug. You could do this with us at IBC. We can help you with this. But I wouldn't add anything else to that, Matt, other than double clicking. Guys, this is something that I would heavily make sure you put some time into. Like it's huge.
And if you suck at getting people results, join the mastermind. We'll give you our stuff for that too. Anyways. Yeah. So below the surface advantage of this, meaning like the invisible things that are benefiting your business when you do this, that you can't track in metrics, you can't see, you can't, without a shadow of doubt, know that I do this happens. And the other thing, that this compounds over time. So the more you do this, the more positive effect it has, right? So one of the biggest things is you do what you say. Most gyms say they get people results, and very few actually do. So if you're the one gym that is showing before and afters and stories, what gym do you think they're going to go to once they're in enough pain that they're like, I need to lose weight? Like that gym undoubtedly is crushing it. I'm going there. And price does in many ways become irrelevant at that point if you are for sure the solution to their problem, because it's undeniable, right? It increases referrals, even if that member maybe isn't getting results. But they see that everybody in the gym is getting results and their friends are getting results and people that sign up for the challenge get results. That person, when they talk to somebody and they say, yeah, I really need to lose weight, like, hey, you really need to sign up and do the challenge because it works. A lot of my friends have done it and they've gotten awesome results and say nothing but good things about it, right? So it's going to increase referrals, because referrals in many ways, you're giving up your goodwill. So if I say to do the challenge and I know it doesn't work, I'm not going to refer you into the challenge. But if I know the challenge works and I know you want to lose weight, then man, you got to do the challenge, right? Like it just very, very, very simple to be able to increase referrals. That's the invisible force. That's the getting people to share your email, getting them to share your posts, getting them to share your ads, getting people to forward your stuff is contingent on, hey, am I willing to give up my goodwill to share this? So unless there's something super strong in it for them, like, hey, share this, you're entered to win a free month, or you're entered to win blah, 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 they're giving up their goodwill and it needs to be worth it. So if I know, hey, you do the challenge, it's going to change your life and you're going to thank me when you're done, you're going to get a lot of referrals. But if it's like, hey, I don't know, like I did the challenge, it kind of sucked and I haven't really seen anybody get results. I'm not sharing that. Are you out of your mind? Hell no.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you could apply that to any other business. Like if I went to a restaurant, the food sucked, and when they were done, they'd give me a little coupon and say, can you share this on your social media? Here's a QR code. I'm throwing it in the trash, right? Like it applies to anything. Like, so just think about how it applies to fitness. That's really what we're saying here.
Unless they gave you $50 to do it, that like there's something, there's something in it for you. Like, fuck it. Like I'll do it. But that's where I'm talking about. There's got to be something strong enough for you to give up your goodwill, because if you say, hey, this restaurant's awesome, and then it's not, people are coming to you like, hey, I tried the restaurant. That restaurant sucked. Like, I'm not going to take your advice on anything ever again. They think less of you. Your status goes down, and human beings make decisions based on status, right? Your status goes down with that group. The other thing is, we talked about this already, but like people see your ad and they're going to go to your website. They're going to go to your social media pages. They're going to do the research and check you out. So if they go to your social media pages and they see before and afters, and they see clients just like them getting results, like they're much more likely to sign up. This is something I have to do better at because it is time consuming. But I do it a lot in my emails. I do all that. I just don't do a great job on social media. So I could be better at this, and I think most gyms could be better at this. Like, post it on your social media, because people are going to scroll your social media when they see an ad. Also, just kind of a tip, when you're running a program and you run an ad, when they go to your social media, make it easy to find the program that they saw in that ad, because sometimes they're trying to go and find it and they can't find it. That's a different conversation. Team member buy-in. If you are always showing client stories and them getting results and you're changing lives, your team's going to be more bought into what you do, which then the product's going to be better. They're going to be more convicted. They're going to sell clients harder. They're going to push more people to do what you need to do. But if they don't think the product is very good, if they don't think the challenge or the program that you're running is very good, and it's not worth the money that people are investing, how well do you think they're going to sell it? You want a convicted team. Grant Cardone, what he does every morning, whether he's there or not, they do like 15-minute huddle, and they just share client wins of people that bought the product and it's changing their business, because he wants his sales team fired up, convicted to go take the no's because of what the product does for people. So he wants them, obviously invested and bought into what the product does. It's also inspiration for other members. Something to aspire to, again, like sometimes clients don't get results and then they look at you like, oh, it's your gym versus like, hey, what am I doing? Right? What you want is like, hey, I know the program works. I'm just not doing it. That's why it's not working, because very clear that it's working for lots of people, right? So like, that's why even people that aren't getting results can still be referral machines. And you're like, I can't believe you're referring our program. You haven't got results in like 5 years with us. But they know the program works because they see other people doing it. But it gives people inspiration. Like I said, when we started implementing the 50-pound posters, people were like, I want a poster. So that one person inspired over 300 people to lose 50 pounds or more because of what they did and because of what they accomplished. And they show what's possible. Being the Roger Bannister effect, right? No one believed they could run a 4-minute mile until he did it. And then I think like 16 people ran it. And like, I don't remember what it was, but it's a very short period of time. So it shows people what's possible. And your challenge is when you show somebody lose 20, 40 pounds, you show that it's possible if you're willing to work hard to do that, which then actually increases results because people come on your challenge convicted because they've seen other people do it and they know it works. And a lot of people go, I'll do it if I know it works. So when you have a bunch of people that have proven that it works, if you just follow the system, I then actually am more likely to follow the system because I know it works. Kind of crazy, right? It creates this snowball effect. And it does matter, guys. Like, this stuff does matter, and it means so much to our clients. One year, we used to do these mega parties. We'd spend a lot of money, and we'd do client poster celebrations. So we'd call up every single person that year that lost 50 pounds or more. So when we started this, we'd have about 30 to 40 people that needed a poster. As you can imagine, people walking up on stage and getting a poster takes a long time. So the feedback from some of the clients was like, oh, it takes too long. So the next year, all we did was we had screens and it just showed their name and their before and afters. And it was like, congratulations. It was one of the biggest things I regret in the last 10 years is listening to some people and not giving people their moment. If you've been 50, 100, like, you're kind of used to not being in the spotlight. You're used to not being acknowledged. You're used to not being the center of attention. You're used to just kind of being, feeling unworthy. This is the opportunity to really put them on a spotlight and make them feel like $1 million and make them feel a way they've never felt in their life. So when people reach milestones and they come in and they accomplish a goal, make a big fucking deal out of it, because it is a big fucking deal. It's one of the biggest things that I regret, right? So be the place that recognizes people. Be the place that rewards people. Be the place that appreciates people. Because if you're the one place that does that, do you think they want to go somewhere else? Right? The same thing with your clients. If your team members, if they feel recognized, they feel rewarded, they feel appreciated, they're probably not looking for another job. And it's just human nature. We're dealing with human beings and we're living, breathing, feeling machines, right? Make them feel good. Be the place that makes people feel good. It does matter. It does make a difference. And often in this direct response or this, you're like, well, I started this Transformation Tuesday thing, or I started this poster thing and it didn't bring anybody in. It's not going to be an overnight instant gratification thing. And don't just do it because it's good for business. I always say what I love about our business is usually what's good for people is also good for business. What's good for your clients, getting them results and making them feel good, is often good for business, right? You don't always get that connection all the time. Where in the fitness business, every time you serve clients and go out of your way to make them feel good, eventually it translates into a better, bigger, better, business, right? So keep that in mind. Don't always do things to get. Do things because it's the right thing to do, and you want to love people up, and you want to make them feel good. You want to make them feel valued. You want to make them feel recognized. You want to make them feel appreciated. Like, how great would that be if you did a client survey and be like, this is the one place that makes me feel recognized, rewarded, appreciated, cared for. I've never experienced that before. Be that one place. You guys can do that. As a freaking gym, you guys can do that. And that would be my challenge to you, is be that one place. So put these systems in place. And again, you don't have to follow the examples that we gave, but whatever you do, you got to be consistent with. Your brand, again, also is what are you consistent with, right? So don't like one time do Transformation Tuesday and then never do it again. So put some of these things in place, go all in on it, get clients excited about how you're going to start celebrating them, and then be consistent with it. And then you're going to start getting a lot more transformations, and you're going to get some people coming to you that say, hey, I'm at 45 pounds. I'm five pounds away. And then you get to root them on. And some people, you don't realize that they were that close because it means something to them. Now I'm telling you, man, like once that's in place, like you start creating this snowball effect and everything you start to do starts to work. And I can also tell you when you start not doing these things consistently, it makes things 1,000 times harder than it is when these things are in place. So wrapping up, start telling stories and using Client Hero marketing framework in everything that you do. Start thinking about what systems can you put in place to capture that, and then put it everywhere, right? Put it in emails, put it on social media, put it in ads, put it on sales pages. Be the place that pumps out. Be the place that's transformation kings and queens of your hometown, and create that association that when you do business with us, this is the outcome you get. And when you do that, your business grows. That's all I got.
All right. Well, guys, if you want to sit down and build out this system for your business, then definitely sign up for IBC Implementation Bootcamp. It's in July. The link is in the show notes. We would love to have you guys there. And if you guys enjoyed today's podcast as we dove into Client Hero marketing, go ahead and give us a 5-star review. Helps us get the word out to other gym owners that need to hear these messages. We sure appreciate it. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next episode. Hey, do you need a sales rep to take care of all of your lead follow-up? Well, that is exactly what we do at Gym Reinforcements. We plug a sales rep into your business to do all of the inbound and outbound lead nurture. I'm talking text, emails, calls, social media DMs. If you or one of your team members is needing to do that every single day and it is draining, then it's time to hand it off to me and my team. So if you want to learn more, go to gymreinforcements.com and we'll be happy to grow your business.